Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here. Welcome back to Stormgate Central. Today, I have a pretty interesting game for you guys, or a series I should say. This is a best of 3 from the EGCTV Open Tournament for the $10,000 that was going on last weekend. And here in the bottom left, we have Parting playing in the blue, and in the top right, we have him playing against Probe. And I particularly wanted to showcase this series of games for you guys because this really does a fantastic job of showing just why Parting is at the top of the leaderboard and why he of course did so well in this tournament. So let's go and take a look at his build here and just how refined this is. So he opens up with a conclave, which is, you know, pretty standard these days to build a conclave on Infernals, get some guns out on the map and start taking that map control and getting yourself some fiends. Takes these couple of imps down here, and then he's going to go and build himself an expansion. And I believe the reason he takes 2 imps down here is one to contest the scout from the Vanguard player, and then the other one just to build the shrine. So once that scout has left the premises, he's going to go and return this imp onto the Therium. One interesting thing I want to point out here, by the way, is that this is something most high-level Infernal players are doing these days. They are leaving like a 1 hex gap between their conclave and the shrine so that they can fit some gaunts in here, and if there's any dog harassment going on with upgraded dogs, any sort of quick rush or anything like that, they can go ahead and put some gaunts in there, jam them in there, and sort of protect them that way. And sometimes in the later games, you'll also see that Parting does this on the other side here. He'll build his second conclave there sometimes, so he can do it there. Now, on the other side of the map, we have Probe going for a fast expansion, so pretty standard here, I would say. That's also what I do. I like to go fast expansion against Infernal players, because they don't really show too much aggression at the moment. What they seem to be doing mostly is getting out on the map and creeping. So he throws down the second conclave, and what he seems to like to do is get out about 3 gaunts, and then he will move out onto the map and begin creeping. So you can see he's going to jam this gun into that little area there. And of course, if the dog follows him in there, he could maybe take some workers, or if he had more gaunts come out, he could sort of surround the dog within that. So that's a really, really nice way to protect yourself. Probe at the moment just getting out his first racks. Couple of workers on the Therium, so it looks like he is going to be going for Lancers. Oh, wait a minute, there's the third one as well. He may just be transferring those down for an expansion in the third. So I guess we'll see what he does with those. But Lancers is pretty standard play. They do really, really well against gaunts. But as you guys are going to see in this game, that is exactly what Parting wants Probe to do, I believe. So here we go. He's moving out now with his 3 gaunts. And he's going to do what every Infernal player is doing these days. He's going to move up to the speed camp here and start kiting these guys, doing as much damage as he can in order to get those fiends and start building up an army. And this dog is also going to have to be careful, because he can get infested and killed off very easily. So you'll notice he's also going up to 6 workers on the Therium, but he only has 10 on the Luminite mine. And I'm just going to pause this quickly because there's so much happening here, but for those of you who aren't aware, there are 4 different lanes on the Luminite mine. There's 2 outer lanes, so you can see we have 3 workers here, and there's actually 3 workers there, and then there are 2 inner lanes, and this inner lane has 2 workers, and this inner lane has 2 workers. The outer lanes are the more efficient ones, so the last 2 workers that you add here, workers 11 and 12, will add a 3rd one here into this lane and a 3rd one into this lane, and those aren't as efficient. So I've noticed what Parting likes to do is he rather just rallies his workers down to the natural, and instead of, you know, saturating in the first or saturating even the natural, he'll just go ahead and take a 3rd. So there we go, he's gotten those creeps killed there, gotten himself a few fiends, as we see Probe moving out across the map here with a couple of Lancers and a dog to contest this. I don't think it's really going to be enough, so he is going to tuck tail and run. Smart lad. Probe's a really, really nice guy, by the way. And here we see the Doombringer coming out. Now, I want to mention here what he does behind this. As soon as he sends the Doombringer, he takes a 3rd. And this is just really, really smart play. As soon as you start any sort of harassment or attack on your opponent, it's just clever to try to bolster your own economy back home. That way, if the if the attack doesn't really work, at least you have a superior economy, even if you don't kill the player outright. And I believe this attack by Parting is not really meant to kill his opponent, but just to sort of be annoying, keep Probe on his toes, stop him from moving out and taking a third of his own. And you can see here on Broken Crown Hinterlands, this low cliff, or the high cliff I should say, is very much exploitable, even by Gaunts, you know, despite their lack of range. They can still get away with hitting units, and if you've built your command post down here, you're going to be in even more trouble than Probe is right now. But, you know, he's not getting anything major damage done here. Probe's just going to follow this Doombringer around with his Lancers, but that still means he has to stay at home, right? Now, he's still going to move out here and try to get something done by the looks of things. It looks like he's going for a counterattack, and I'm not sure if this was Parting or it was Probe here, but somebody's gone through the trees. But now we see Phase 3 kicking in of Parting's master plan. So this is what he likes to do. He takes the third when he moves out, and he probably wasn't counting on Probe doing a counterattack here, but it looks like Parting has been clever enough to leave some Gaunts back home, and he's also got the Shroud Stone up there in the nick of time. And once he moves out to do his Doombringer drops, he builds... Actually, normally he builds 2 Conclaves. In this particular game, he's decided to go for a 3rd Conclave and an Iron Vault. Not sure why, but more importantly, he gets the Ritual Chamber so he can upgrade Flame On for the Imps. And take note of the time here. We are only at 5 minutes 45 into the game. He's still at the natural of Probe, still being an absolute nuisance here and stopping Probe moving out and taking the third. But the turret there and the Lancers following this Doombringer around is going to be enough to deter Parting. So that's not really the big deal. But here he goes. He pulls all of his... I'm not sure how many imps this is. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 imps there. He's pulled pretty much all of the imps from the Therium and the Luminite there. He's still got 8 and 10 on the Therium and the Luminite respectively in the main. But you guys are going to see just how, I would say, like, almost unstoppable this build is if you're not prepared for it. So he brings the Doombringer back now, along with the additional Gaunts, gets some white health there. He pretty much has everything he needs. And now all Probe has, are the Lancers. And these are exactly the unit I think that Parting really wants him to have. Because whilst they do a lot of damage to Gaunts, they are not very good against defending against Imps. And he just runs straight in with the Imps there onto the Lancers and just absolutely demolishes them. Probe is building an additional turret there, but it's too little too late. Down goes the second turret. And now all that's left is for Parting to clean this up. So I just really, really love this build. This is the reason, I mean, obviously it's not the only reason, but it's one of them why Parting is at the top of the leaderboard and why he did so well in this competition here. It's just so well thought out. He moves out onto the map and starts creeping first of all. He takes the map control, he stops his opponent from being able to do anything on the map, and whilst he's doing that, he's also building up his army and getting some of these fiends. Then he moves into phase 2, he gets this greater shrine here from having so many workers on the Therium nice and early. As soon as that's done, he gets out a Doombringer, starts putting on the pressure, takes his third behind it, and then whilst that's happening, he takes a fourth, or rather he gets the Ritual Chamber, and then when he moves out with the Imps and all of his Gaunts, he also takes a fourth. So in that way, he's securing himself, you know, the fact that if this attack would fail and Probe would maybe manage to hang on by the skin of his teeth, Parting is still going to be massively ahead in terms of economy. Anyway, guys, let's move on to game number 2 here. Alright, guys, here we are in game number 2. This time we have Probe down in the bottom left and Parting in the top right. And this time it's a new map, Secluded Grove. By the way, guys, if you do enjoy this kind of content here on the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. There's going to be a lot more Stormgate content coming here, not just casts, but also guides. And of course, I always do my best to try to bring you guys the news and keep you updated with the current progress of Stormgate and everything that Frost Giant is doing. So, in any case, any support you guys show me is always massively appreciated. Also, you know, let me know down in the comments if you enjoy these casts, what sort of casts or players you want to see more of. And, yeah. So, we're going to see if Probe's going to be able to hold on to this attack here. Because Parting is going for the exact same thing. Again, the Conclave here with that same little 1 hex gap between the shrine, and once he has these 10 workers on the Luminite, he goes and puts them on Therium. That's actually really, really interesting. I didn't realize that the drop in Luminite mining efficiency was actually big enough of a deal that you specifically don't want to saturate your main. That being said, I think this is definitely a build by Parning that is extremely tight. He's probably practiced this a lot, and he's got it down to a T, and maybe it just only works if you skip having these two, imps here on the Luminite. But he's going to take his expansion. No contesting from the dog from Probe here, or I'm sure he tried. As we can see, the Gaunt is in there. Maybe I just missed it, but it looks like Parning managed to fend him off. But Probe's going to go for the same opener here. He's just going to go for this regular old fast expansion, but he does have 4 miners on the Therium, so he may be going for Hornets here in order to shut down that Doombringer, which I think would be a really smart move, because I really think the last game he, had to be on his toes the entire time because of that Doombringer harass. Just like clockwork, we see the second Conclave going down. 2 Gaunts are out, and I fully expect once the third Gaunt appears, let's just see if he just does this and sticks to the exact same build. I think once the third Gaunt appears there, we're going to see Parting move out and start creeping. Damn it! Maybe it's going to be the 4th one. Okay, there they go. He's moving out now. Is he? Yes, okay, it looks like he is. It looks like this dog's going to come in and harass, but he is going to get shooed away by these Gaunts. Where is this imp going, though? He's going to hide it in the grass there? I'm not sure what he was thinking there. I also noticed, by the way, that Parning doesn't bother getting any shroud stones. Wow, really couldn't say that there. He doesn't bother getting any of those until he moves out with his imps, and I think that's just in case of any sort of dog run by that could happen, a hornet or something like that. He always makes sure he has 1 shroud stone in the main and in the natural usually. But, early on in the game here, he's not wasting any resources on that. Of course, if his attack does fail, then he needs to make sure he has at least 1 shroud stone so that he can accrue all of the animus that you get from the units dying, right? So that's very, very important there for the late game if the game ends up going on. So he's going to move out, take his vision camp here. He's not going for the speed camp, which is, it's quite far away on this map. It's just really out of the way in order to get these 3 goats. So I guess he figures it's not really worth it. But he is going to go ahead and chase down this scout with the Fiends. Meanwhile, back home for Probe, he is indeed, by the looks of things, going for Hornets with now 6 Bobs on the Therium. So I really like this from him. He knows that Parning is most likely going to do the exact same build, or at least he's going to get the Doombringer out. Speaking of which, the Greater Shrine is already done, so I fully expect a Doombringer to be appearing from Parning's base any second now. And we see the 3rd going down. Where's the Doombringer? Wait, is it the Doombringer? Oh my god, I've missed it, guys. I'm sorry. The Doombringer is already out and across the map. So there you go. Exact same build here. And he may even be able to exploit Probe's base a little bit more because he just has such a large area to work with. But I think the Hornet is probably going to chase him away. Maybe drop a shield on this one before it dies. Is it going to die? Wait, it's not dying. It looks like Parning isn't focusing it down. Or it's getting repaired. I guess it's getting repaired by the Bobs here. It's kind of hard to tell when the Bobs are on the ground, whether they're repairing each other or they're repairing the Hornets. But really nice micro, actually, from Probe, keeping both of those Hornets alive and saving a shield in the process. But Parning is still here. He's still being a nuisance. Now the Bob overcharge, I believe, has already been used. So, he's going to have to do something. The shield goes down on the second Hornet. One of them returns to the hangar bay. By the way, this is a really nice trick. For those of you who don't know, there is an ability for all of the air units for the Vanguard where you can return a unit to the hangar. And it can't move. Once it returns to the hangar, it cannot move until it's been fully repaired. So what he does is puts a repair sentry post up there to speed up the repair process. That's a super, super smart move. So, Probe, he's no scrub, man. He's one of the best Vanguard players in Stormgate at the moment. And this is the round of 8 from a $10,000 tournament. So he is definitely not an opponent to be underestimated. Meanwhile, back home, though, as the Doombringer harassment seems to have come to an end, at least momentarily, we do see Parting with that ritual chamber. He is certainly going to be researching the flame on for the imps. And any second here, yeah, there we go. He just pulls his imps, and there he goes across the map. And this wasn't the only series that I saw him do this tactic in. This has kind of become known as the Parting push. This, like, look at the time here, guys. 6 minutes and 20. You do not expect, what is that, like 15 gaunts and like 10 imps that are going to blow up in your base coming across the map. And what does Probe have to defend with here at home? I mean, yeah, he's got a Hornet, but, you know, there are only 3 Lancers here. I don't think that's going to be enough to hold this. The turret, exactly the same timing. The turret's coming up just like it was in the last game, but it's just a little bit too slow. And he's just, you know, triggering enough of these imps at a time to take down the Lancers. In fact, he's almost got it down perfectly how many imps it takes to kill the turret there. And Probe has left the game. GG. Parting has done it again. And let's take a look in the natural here. He has added a second hangar bay here. He's going to sort of speed up, it looks like, the Hornet production. But, like, this seems almost unstoppable. So let's go to game number 3 and see what Probe's going to do there. Alrighty, so here we are back on Broken Crown Hinterlands again. I think it's actually loser's pick. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, if you know better than me with the tournament, but I think it was loser's pick. So I think Probe has selected this map here. And he's over in the right corner here as the red. And of course, down in the bottom left, we have good old Parting, aka Veni Vidi Vici, as the Infernals. And this is already looking mighty familiar here. 2 workers on the Therium. And that Conclave going down here. Probe is trying to get some nice harassment on these couple of workers, but that white health regenerating there really makes it difficult to pick off even a single imp with your dog at the start of a game, especially against an opponent as talented as Parting is. And it looks like Probe is just going to give up there, realize that his APM is probably spent on macroing back home or something, and he's going to go back to searching around the map. Let's see if he's going to go for some sort of different build here, though. Nope, it looks like it is going to be the fast expansion. Honestly, I would like to see what happens against this build of Parting's if you get out some very early dogs. You know, the upgraded dogs with the Beryllium Claws that do the extra bonus damage to light units. You know, maybe get 2 racks out and start pumping out a bunch of dogs. He really doesn't have much out on the battlefield outside of a few gaunts and fiends. So, I mean, yeah, okay, it's fair to say that dogs are certainly susceptible to gaunts, because if they do get an infest on them, they can go down pretty quickly, and you get that snowball effect coming in. But, you know, on the flip side, if dogs manage to surround these gaunts once they've moved out on the map and they're maybe creeping and taking the speed camp here, the Infernal player can be in a lot of trouble. So, yeah. Anyway, it looks like we're not going to see that from Probe. As right now, he hasn't really committed to anything, just macroing up, got his second command post on the go. And Parting is just going to be doing his thing, man. He's taking that expansion, he's getting a second Conclave, and he's probably getting out that 3rd Gaunt any second now, and going to be taking that creep camp. Seems to be map dependent here where he builds the Conclaves. You guys will notice that on the last map, Secluded Grove, he built like one here, and the second one here that I was talking about in game 1. In this map, he always builds them side by side, so perhaps it's to make some sort of a mini wall off, I suppose, you know, a bit of SimCity to protect the workers on the Therium, because the dogs are always going to go for the Therium workers, right? Those are the most susceptible, and also really good idea here, just, you know, making a meat farm, your first meat farm in a clever position where it's going to defend your bombs. So the first barracks is down. It looks like Probe is going to be going into maybe a Lancer or 2, at least to open the game with here. We'll see what remains after that. But Parting moving out with the 4 Gaunts, and he's going to be doing the exact same thing, man. Taking the speed camp. The way that players are doing this is they basically just kite these mobs across the map. Once they reach a certain distance from their point of origin, they will just run back again. But they don't reset in health, so I'm not sure I really agree with that. I almost feel like once they reset, maybe they should reset their health as well, because it means that players can, you know, constantly kite them. And in theory, you could kill that creep camp with a single gaunt. Now, you would never kill it with a single gaunt if you just went head-on with the creep camp, but since they are melee units, if you just keep resetting it enough, it's theoretically possible. Anyway, the Doombringer's out already. Like, I'm flabbergasted how quick this build goes, man. Look, we're not even at 4 minutes yet, and there's a drop coming across the map. I do certainly think that Parting is cutting workers here. It would be interesting if we had, you know, a production panel up here in the corner and we could see when he's cutting workers and when he isn't. But he's coming in with a drop here. There is a Hornet that's going to be giving... But at the same time here, there's, like, Fiends going into the Therium in the main. The Doombringer is going to... Really nice job there from Probe. He shields the Hornet, manages to take down the Doombringer. But there are still Fiends in the main, and I don't think Probe has noticed this at all here. He was too preoccupied with getting the kill on that Doombringer, but that was still certainly very big there. By the way, for those of you who aren't aware, if you attack move, your units will never target the Doombringer. They will always target everything else, so you need to manually target the Doombringer lots and lots of times to actually get it killed there. So here we have something a little bit different here. The hangar bay, of course, is down with the Hornets, but now we have a mech bay, and there is no biolab, so it doesn't look like he's going to be going into bio of any sort. Going to be trying something a little bit different here against what I can only assume is going to be the same build, and I think Probe knows it too. And here we see the Ritual Chamber coming down. Yeah, he knows what's up. Parting's still just sort of creeping around the map. I mean, he has lost the Doombringer, and Probe's actually going to move into the main and start to get a little bit of harassment in here of his own. I don't think Parting really banked on this. I don't think he banked on losing that Doombringer. It's probably very important for this build to make sure that you keep the pressure on your enemy rather than the other way around. And if he's not careful, he might have Probe start to harass him more than he would like here, but... The Ritual Chamber is now down. That upgrade has surely been started. So any second, Parting is going to be pulling these imps and going on his rampage again. And there they go. He just basically pulls all of the workers from the natural. He seems to leave the main alone here for the most part. So he's not like super all in with this build. I mean... You know, again, he's taking that 4th there behind this attack. He's already taken the 3rd behind his Doombringer attack. So, it's not like he couldn't recover from this if it doesn't work, right? But I'm interested to see how Probe is going to do here. I mean, you can see he's learnt his lesson, man. He's already got 2 turrets down now. In the previous games, he only had the single turret with the buzzsaw cannon, and he was getting a 2nd turret, but he didn't get it in time. This time, we've got a couple, as well as the reinforced habitat here, so let's see how this goes. 4, 5, 6 imps, I think, there go into the 1st turret, and now there's another 6. What is this going into the 2nd turret? And now only gaunts remain here, but Probe has just spun out a 2nd Vulcan, and Vulcans do absolutely insane damage to gaunts here. I don't think this is going to be enough for Parting. He's not going to be able to do anything against these Vulcans. He can't infest them, as they are, of course, mechanical units. And Parting is going to be chased off here. So we have a game on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. It seems that this is... It's really the only defense. You have to know that this attack is coming, and you have to get down enough turrets in time. If you don't do that, I think anybody, no matter how good of a player you are, is going to die to that timing attack from the imps. So, you know, it's really integral that you scout this Ritual Chamber, and you don't have a lot of time because upgrades in Stormgate, they really don't take too long to finish and come to completion. So Parting's doing a bit of a poke here as he sees Probe going to take his 3rd. This is definitely the better 3rd you want to take if you're going for mech. Mech is extremely Therium heavy, so if you go and take this 3rd, you of course don't have any Therium to work with. Take this one and you've got a lovely patch over there. But Probe is not messing around. He's throwing down 3 sentry posts, it looks like, so taking no chances on further attacks from imps or whatever else Parting is going to throw out in this game. Meanwhile, though, Parting is macroing back home like a beast, getting his 5th now up and running at the 8th minute of the game. That's not far from an expansion per minute. That's pretty nutty, man. How are we doing on workers here? 3 on the Therium in the natural, and 10 on the Luminite. 11 here. 6 over there. So, you know, things aren't fully saturated yet, but it's looking that way. Of course, the Infernal players, they have to make a shrine next to this Therium if they want to make use of that, because this pathing here all the way around is just far too long. And, oh my god, there's an attack of imps in the main here. An imp drop. Forget bailing busts and bailing drops, guys. It's apparently now all about the imp drops. I'm not sure what Podding's hoping to do with this, though. This is not enough to take out those Vulcans. This is a pretty measly army right here. And Podding is going to have to run away. Now, of course, the weakness of the Vulcans is that they are extremely slow. So unless you've got dropships, you've got evacs out, or something like that to transport them around, that there's not really a lot you can do. As another imp drop comes in from Podding, he is just an absolute nuisance with these drops, man. I don't know how Probe has managed to keep his sanity for this long. If it was me playing this game, I'd be raging right now. I can promise you guys that. Interesting what Podding is doing here with the 2 army split. So he's got a bunch of gaunts over here, just sort of creeping, keeping the map control, taking the resource camps, and building up some fiends. But he's making sure that Probe's not going to move out on the map at the same time here. So, you know, he wants to keep this map control at all times, and he's certainly done a very good job of that. The mech play here, the Vulcans from Probe, Vulcans are extremely powerful units when they're defending or they're up against a large army, but they're really not very mobile or good for controlling the map at all. So, you know, that is going to mean he has to give up the entire map to Podding. And he's also doing a great job here, just patrolling around this third of Probe, making sure that he's not taking that, or at the very least, whenever he does move in and take that third, he's going to be there to stop him. Couple of hangar bays out here for Probe, so that seems to pretty much be the standard. I think Mech and Hornets is actually a really, really interesting build to watch here. I really do like the versatility of the Vanguard race. The fact that, you know, you can go bio, you can go for drops, you can go for Mech, you can go for air, and all of these things are viable, and you can sort of mix and match them together. You know, definitely is hitting those StarCraft 2 vibes. The Infernals, on the other hand, I feel like they're, like, I don't want to say a one-trick pony, but sort of, right? You can sort of go for Hellborns, or you can go for the Magmadons. That being said, though, I know that the Infernals have a lot of work left to be done. You know, we've only just recently seen the Hellborn added to the game. In the previous beta test, there were no Hellborn, so there just was no siege unit for the Infernals. Only the Vanguard has a siege unit, which, you know, now looking back, that seems kind of unfair. But, hey, here we are. Now, Probe has a bunch of Hornets here, and really nice split there. You know, making sure that they're all going to be equally targeted down, and you can just see what's happening. But there's no gaunts here. They're not going to be able to hold this. But those Shroud Stones, they might be able to hold it. So Probe is going to run away here. But look at the veterancy on this one. Wait, what was that? Did I miss something there? Was that a Shadow Flyer that just flew in? I don't know, but one of those Hornets blew up. Podding is just going to be sitting on this expansion, though. Probe is gearing up now to take this, but he is going to push Podding out of there with these. How many Vulcans do we have here? 5, 6, 7, 8 Vulcans. That is not a measly force to be trifled with. And if you guys have been coming up against Vanguard players with a lot of Vulcans, you'll know that they are pretty damn good, man. Podding's now going to move into here. I really love this from him. So he's kind of distracting Probe over here. He realizes that the weakness of the Vulcans is the fact that they are slow. But Probe's also doing a pretty good job of splitting the army, sending 3 Vulcans, which is honestly probably enough to deal with this push. Make that 4 Vulcans now. He does lose the couple of sentry posts at the front there, but, you know, that's not really a big deal. And he has secured his 4, so Probe is definitely in this game. What is Podding doing, though, with the almost bad-mannered shrine on his opponent's 4th base there? I'm not sure how long that's going to survive for Podding, but I guess we'll have to wait and see with that one. These Vulcans are just going to absolutely massacre those Gaunts. I don't really know what Podding's thinking taking this engagement, but hey, he is Podding. He's top of the leaderboard for a reason, so I guess he knows what he's doing. Again, we're seeing the same sort of hangar bay play here. He's got the repairs out here, you know, because, again, I can't stress this enough. If you do use the return to hangar bay ability, your units are going to be stuck there. They will repair up by themselves on the hangar bay, essentially for free, but it takes a very, very long time. Party's just going to move in here, though, and he's managed to pick off the command post. Really nice play from him there. Sacrificing the Fiends, so, I mean, you know, Fiends aren't cheap either, right? You only get a couple of Fiends for one Brute, which is 150 Luminite, so was that really worth it? I guess Parting thinks so, but these Vulcans are going to come in and clear out the rest of the Brutes there. I'm hearing Imps exploding, but I don't see any Imps on the map, so I think I may have missed a drop there. Wait, the natural looks okay. Maybe I didn't. I don't know, man. Sometimes the game's weird and it plays the wrong sound effects as well. So Parting has transitioned here heavily into these Hellborns. He's also got some Shadow Flyers out, so these few Hornets that are left on the map have to be extremely careful. In fact, he can really just go and attack them because the Vulcans can't attack air. But Probe with some really nice micro, picking off all but one of the Shadow Flyers. As Probe and Parting here going at it in the middle of the map. I love this control from Parting, the fact that he's set up these Shroud Stones on the high ground here, and he's just going to keep Probe at bay. He's not overcommitting, he's just, you know, pushing him away, making sure that he can't take any of that map control. Those pesky Imps, man. Here he comes back into the natural, taking out a few bombs in the process. Meanwhile, he's just turned Probe's 4th base here into an absolute fortress. Wow, they just do so much damage. I mean, even against Vulcans here, Vulcans with veterancy, Imps can take those things out, man. But Parting is going to be going for a pretty big push now. This may be the end for Probe. I don't know where his Vulcans are. There's a couple over here. There's a couple there making their way. And there's a bunch of Hornets here. But again, his army's just sort of out of position. And this is really like the only bad thing about Vulcans. Maybe that and the fact that they can't attack air. Otherwise, they're insane units. But I think there's so many Hellborn here that Probe is just not going to be able to hold this one, man. The Infest coming down there, I like that on the mechanical units. I'm not really sure why you would do that. Like, does that actually do like some initial damage and just not give you a Fiend? I don't know. I don't think it does. But maybe it's just like a BM Infest because you know you're going to win the game. Who knows? But it looks like Parting, is he actually going to do it? I think Probe's holding on here. He's only just holding on by the skin of his teeth, but there are a couple of Hornets out, and these Hellborn cannot attack air, so he is going to probably manage to clean these up, and this one here is doing, let's remember, 30% extra damage because of the veterancy bonus. And well done, Probe. He's actually managed to hold on here by the skin of his teeth. There are more units, though, funneling their way across the map, and there's a flayed dragon out now, so I don't know, man. There's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 expansions now up for Parting. So his macro is just going to be insane. There's a couple of Iron Vaults there. There's 2 there. We've got 6 Iron Vaults. There's 1, 2, 4 Conclaves. And Probe has left the game, man. GG. Well done to Parting. Absolutely insane player. Honestly, I have to give props to Probe for holding on for that long there. He did a really, really nice job of holding that Imp bust. But, you know, it still put him really behind for this game. You can just tell that the entire game, Parting has just held on to that map control. He's held on to his lead in bases. And ultimately, he ended up taking that one. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this cast here. As always, guys, don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy the content. And check out this game here from the other day if you're interested in more. But otherwise, hope you guys have a good day. And I'll see you in the next video.